Yo, so I booked 5,000 calls on LinkedIn, made about $5 million on the platform. And the last time we surveyed our clients, they made $172 million a year. And in this video, I'm going to walk you through exactly how to send outbound DMs on LinkedIn. Oh shit. Yeah, how to send outbound DMs on LinkedIn that then turn into inbound leads, right? And this is the dream, right? Everyone's inbound leads. How does it actually happen? How does it occur? I'm just going to show you how it occurs, and I'm going to run you through examples of like actual client examples. Let me just flip my screen so it's the correct one. Yeah, so actual client examples like Bill Krell, who's like booked up for months in advance, Pedro, who just literally gets hundreds of leads every week, Beck, who has 1,900 followers, and how she literally books like 40 calls in 1 month as well. So I'm going to walk you through like exactly how they do it, how you can do it yourself as well, show you some templates and all that kind of stuff. So let's get into it. And if you don't know who I am, my name is Matthew Lekayev. I run a program called Six Figure Creators, where I help small business owners who are using LinkedIn right now and want to create their offer. They want to sell it online. They've been relying on referrals. They're posting, they're commenting, they bought Sales Nav, and they just want to make it better. And an example is Shireen. Really recently, she just implemented the thing we taught last week, and she literally already booked 2 calls, which is absolutely insane. So this is what I run. And within our program, what we do is I run 2 live calls every single day for an hour and a half. All calls are recorded. You can get access to everything. We've got hundreds of stuff. We've got like a super active community. I get back to everyone every day. I got 2 community managers. We have by far the best program for LinkedIn if you're a small business owner and makes money. Like, I guarantee it's literally by far the best one. We've also got our own custom software we give you. But anyways, let's get into this session. So how to send cold DMs and DMs outbound that then turn into inbound leads, right? What's really key when you're doing this is I want to talk about something here which may be a little bit unorthodox, right? I want to talk about pain, right? The way in which you get people to get back to you is by marketing pain. And how do you market to pain, right? This is what all the best people actually do. And I'll show you real examples, right? So the pain is either really rare or really constant, right? And so what are different types of pain, right? So number one is, yearly pain, right? If you look at it in a year, that's when you do your taxes, right? You do your taxes once a year, your accountant sends you some stuff. It's a bit bad, it's a bit annoying, but you just cop it on the chin, and that's why no one ever changes their accountants, right? My dad even stayed with the same shitty accountant for fucking 25 years because it only came around every once in a while. It was a shit experience. The only reason he changed was because he realized one time the guy was like 12 quarterly reports behind, and my dad was like 3 tax returns behind, and he needed to sell the house and get some shit in order, right? And it was that hard to change, right? Because the pain wasn't so frequent that my dad didn't think about it, right? The next type of pain is then monthly pain, right? So what's monthly pain? It's your credit card bill. Your credit card bill sucks. You get it once a month. You look at it. You're like, this kind of sucks, right? But like, you can get over it. Like, you can go out. It doesn't matter. You can deal with it. You can like just push it to the side. It's not even a thing, right? Now, what's the next thing? What's some weekly pain, right? Weekly pain is Sunday night dreads, right? Sunday night, you're dreading the next day of the Monday and you have a weekly pain. Another really common weekly pain in Australia is going out binge drinking. When they were younger in Australia, or a lot of people went out, drank so much alcohol, they got messed up on the weekends. And then you're like, Sunday, I'm never ever going to do this ever again. Monday, you're a bit hungover at work. Tuesday, you're feeling a bit better. Wednesday, you're like, I'm back at it. And then by the next Saturday, you're going out again, right? So weekly pain isn't even enough because people don't remember it. They just keep doing it every weekend, even though they get the pain, right? So when you're marketing to people, you've got to market to daily pain and in your DMs, right? Because when you market to daily pain, that's when you wake up tired, right? When you wake up tired every day, what do people in the US, 500 million people a day, what do, right? They drink coffee. How many people drink coffee? Let me know in the chat if you guys drink coffee, right? You drink coffee every single day because you're tired, because that's the pain, the reinforcement cycle. Let's say you got a really bad headache, right? You're going to take an Adderall or whatever it's called, like Advil or whatever it is, to get rid of the pain, right? So the key when you're sending DMs and you're marketing to people in content is you need to be talking about their daily pain over and over and over and over. And I'll talk about why as well. So we've got the pain kind of pressure loop, right? So think about people's pain or what they're going to deal with if they're going to buy your solution as a balloon, right? Now a balloon, right? Think about what happens with a balloon. How do we make a balloon pop, right? So number one is they need to feel the pain, right? You have to re-remind them of the pain. In the DMs, you talk about it. You talk about how the competitor got this amazing deal. You talk about, how their life sucks at work, whatever it is, right? You're re-reminding about the pain every single day, every single hour if you can, right? Because what that pain does is that pain leads to a human being thinking about the meaning of the pain. What is the actual meaning of this pain, right? What does it mean to me? How does this keep coming about, right? Coffee is the best one of pain. Everyone takes coffee to remove the pain of feeling tired. Every new parent, everyone that works too much, it's like the most used drug in the world. Like the reason is because it's pain over and over and over and over and over, right? It's constantly getting at you. Because then if you have pain, then you have meaning. This is what causes pressure, right? Pressure. And what pressure causes is then you to really feel it, and then it happens again. The pain loop, right? We call this the pain loop, right? And then the pain comes again. And the more you have of these reinforcement cycles of pain, eventually the balloon will pop, and that's when they want to talk to you and reach out to you and have a conversation around what you do. This is like really, really key, right? Because the more that you're showing up in your content, and especially your DMs, these conversations that you're having with these other human beings, over and over, you're having these conversations, and then your content is re-reminding about the pain. And the pain needs to be very specific. How do they visualize it? Like, what is the actual pain that they're thinking right now? Like, how are you marketing the actual pain? And I'll give you an example of something you can market to pain, right? If anyone has a dog, right? If you have a dog, you take your dog to the dog park, right? Now, there's no worse pain than when you take your dog to the dog park and your dog does a shit and then you don't have the shit bag, right? And so you're reminded about that when that happens, right? So if a company then markets that and they talk about that, you remember that time that happened? Oh, fuck yeah, I remember that. Well, we brought out a dog leash that attaches the poo bag to the thing. And there's also an app that pings you and tells you, hey, just reminds you, did you put the poo bag thing in, right? Really, really simple, but you're marketing to someone's pain that they're actually feeling. So how does this have anything to do with the LinkedIn DMs, right? So the big idea obviously is frequent daily pain, right? You want to be hitting people when they're feeling frustrated, guilt, stressed, avoidance every single day. What are they feeling every single day, right? What are these? But where people mess up on LinkedIn is they start talking about long-term goals and aspirations and strategic improvements and bigger picture transformation in their business. It's like the classic person that's like, oh man, I'm going to show you how to double your business profits and half the time you work. And it's like, you're not marketing to an everyday pain. You're just marketing to something that's not even real. It's like that can't even happen. So no one's going to buy that. They want to fix a very specific pain. Like we've got a client, Yannick, in our program. He's a behavioral scientist, right? He's got a PhD, right? Like for him, his target is founders in Queensland, Australia. And we were talking about his niche the other day. And like he helps people with time management. But how do I readdress a pain to them? Well, you talk about not spending enough time with your kids. Because if he's marketing to managing directors of businesses, they're feeling guilty about not hanging out with their kids. They're feeling guilty about not dropping them at school. They're feeling guilty about not coming home to tuck them in at night. And their wife sent them a photo of the kids asleep. Look how cute they look. And you can't believe I missed it again. That's a pain that parents have every single day. So whatever you're selling is irrelevant. You have to market to the actual pain of what you're actually doing, which is really, really key, right? And this is why it explains, if you don't market to pain, your content just gets likes, but you don't get any DMs. People say, this is great, but they never book a call with you. You feel like you're forcing people in follow-ups and your pipeline gets cold, right? Because the reason why all this matters is because when you're talking to other human beings in the DMs and you sell your thing, right? This is how pipeline and your DMs actually work. On the left, someone is either a stranger to you or they're what's called a trusted advisor, right? Or I call an identity ally. So there's someone that really, really trusts you, right? The whole entire goal of your LinkedIn DMs is for you to move as many people, hundreds of people if you can, along this line. So they trust you. So they get to know you because eventually they're going to come up to the timing where they're like, the parent actually missed, for Yannick, the parent finally missed their kid's award ceremony and the kid was really excited to go to because they didn't realize they had a meeting. And that causes a compelling event, which means this time I'm going to change it. And who do they think of? They're going to think of him because he's been talking about that in his DMs. He's saying that. That's like what he is. And so this is like the goal of what you're doing. You're moving people through this, but you can only do it if you help a specific person, right? And so really what really matters is the three big pain points are pain frequency determines recall frequency. Now, what does this mean, right? The way our brain works is we remember things because we have to recall them right? And then we teach them. That's why teaching is one of the greatest ways to learn, because you have to recall the information. Think about school, right? So when you're recalling this pain every day, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired. Like if you haven't had your coffee, I'm tired, I'm tired, I'm tired, right? You're constantly recalling what's happening. And so you're constantly feeling the pain. It's like if you've ever been to the gym and you got a gym injury, right? I remember I hurt my back once at CrossFit. Fucking pain, 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 pain. Man, I need some like whatever it's called, whatever it's called. I can't remember what they're called, right? You need this like actual stuff from the pain. And so you need to be marketing like to the pain frequency, because the recall frequency puts it at people in front of people's minds. That's how their memory works. And not all pain creates the same level of inbound. So like you've got yearly pain, doesn't really matter. The reason why it's so easy with accountants, how many people have shit accountants and they just stay with them, right? Because it's not a pain that's persistent. Like I had a buddy, Greg, who like was meant to get his wisdom teeth out, right? He's 39. For 3 years, his dentist, he went to his dentist once a year. The dentist is like, you got to get your wisdom teeth out. And he's like, he put it off for 3 years. It's because there's no immediate pain. Like why does no one take fish oil tablets? We all know we should take fish oil tablets. There's no immediate pain, right? And so people don't know about the immediate pain. And your job isn't they should be smarter. Your job should be like, I'm going to market to this pain so we can get them into helping them with this thing that they actually need. That's what you're really doing. Monthly pain, weekly pain is not even good. You need daily pain. Missing dinner with the kids. It's daily pain, right? Realize you fucking hate your clients, right? That's something that I market to, right? I work with small business owners. So they've grown their business off referrals. They've got all these clients. They don't know how to market themselves online, but they keep working with Joe, who calls them on a Saturday night fuming, but you still need the retainer, right? You're constantly getting these fucking emails from Joe, right? And so that's a pain that someone viscerally feels that I market to. I'm like, how would it feel to like not have Joe and fire Joe? How would that feel? We had a client in our program the other day. He's like, best win ever. I fired my client. I fired them. They treated me like shit. I don't need them. I fired them. Best win, most celebrations. Right? It's like, that's what you really want, right? And so the rule is inbound frequency is capped by pain frequency. How much frequency do you do? And it doesn't matter if you sell something that people do once a year, you're selling something that they're thinking about every day. What is the pain that's happening every single day? And so what your content and DMs are actually doing is your content isn't convincing people to buy. It's creating an association between a specific recurring moment and your name, right? That's what they want, right? So who am I on LinkedIn, right? I am the guy on LinkedIn, the crazy Australian guy that has a mustache that just tells you the brutal truth around why you are not getting leads on LinkedIn. And I'll read this post, right? This is why we get so many inbound leads and so many bookings, the way I read this post, right? So I'll read this out loud. Anyone who says, don't cold DM is an idiot. Last year, I cold DM Ali Abdal. If you don't know who that guy is, he's like 6.8 million followers. And I booked a call with him. I then helped him for free for 60 minutes. I then coached his program for 90 minutes for free, and I asked for nothing in return. Then I saw him in the 505 podcast, big podcast, right? I then asked if he could introduce me. He said, yeah, send me the message. And then I talked about, I sent that with him. I rocked up and I just recorded a free training on this. But I'm playing on the pain, right? Because people are thinking to themselves, like all day, every day is like, should I cold DM? Should I not cold DM? I don't know, it feels weird. I'm just like, anyone who says don't cold DM is an idiot. Whoa. That just like ruins my like what I'm doing. They're on the LinkedIn feed. Everyone's like, colding DM is ick. And so I'm breaking the perception of like what they're actually doing, which is like really, really key, right? And so your content, what it's really doing is every time you name the same pain, the link between the moment and you strengthens, right? The memory becomes easier to access and you become obvious for the person to reach out to. That this is priming, it's not selling. And this is why your niche matters, right? And so if you say, I help business owners, you can't help business owners. It's too difficult. It's too broad. You don't know what their true pains are. But if I look at Pedro's content, right? He helps 9 to 5 employers start an e-commerce business in 30 days to get richer, right? That's what he does. What does Pedro talk about in all of his content? The same thing. Zuckerberg just paid someone 1.5 billion and then fired 600 employees. He's playing on the prey of the pain of you thinking every day, holy shit, AI is going to fire me. Every employee who's thinking that. And they're thinking about wanting to leave, right? He's like $55 million wedding in Venice, 16,000 layoffs sent by accident, right? He's pain. It's the same pain he's hitting every single time. He's like, you have no control over your job and your life. You're screwed. It's like he's literally doing that pain as well. And he upsets people, he pisses people off, but he makes way more money than everyone else, right? So this is why the niche really, really matters, right? And so why people don't reach out and why campaigns exist. So this is what I do with clients in our program. We're running a 28-day challenge at the moment. Feel free to join us if you'd like. I'd show you the link after. But even when the pain is real and reoccurring, people often don't act, right? Because if they reach out to you, it feels like they're a failure. It's embarrassing. They feel like they should have their shit together, right? Sometimes you cold DMing someone and DMing them, you're doing them a favor. Like I have a client this morning who what she does is she helps lawyers who've been through trauma and who don't really feel anything even though they have great moments. They've been chasing this thing their whole entire life. So when she writes about that, how hard would it be if someone's a lawyer to admit that they have trauma and when they got the promotion to junior partner, they didn't feel anything? How would that feel? Like it's going to be weird. But if she reaches out to them after they view her profile, after they look at her post and she says, oh, by the way, like I'm going to work with a couple of small group of people at the end of this month to do this thing. They're going to be like, okay, this is why I teach clients to run offer campaigns, because you want to give people the opportunity to be able to say, yes, it's socially acceptable for me to admit that's wrong right now. This is why I run like workshops, because I'm like, for people to admit that LinkedIn's not working for me, I actually really need your help. Sometimes it's weird. It's weird to send me a message and tell them that, right? But what's way easier is if I say, hey, I'm running this workshop, we're going to be doing this thing. Would you like to come? And someone's like, oh, that's great. I would love to come. So having these conversations, reminding who you are, but you can create these moments where they want to work with you, which is really, really important, right? And so that's why campaigns matter. And I teach clients how to do this. And I've had clients close 50, 70 grand on campaigns. It's like easily, right? And so what this means for your LinkedIn pipeline, right? Your pipeline is not a list of people to convince. It's a list of people who recognize the pain you talk about and they trust you, but they're just not ready yet, right? So you can have a whole bunch of people in your pipeline who know you, who trust you, right? But it's just not the right time, right? It's just sometimes that happens in life. It just happens, right? Like it's just a difficult thing, but you want to keep them in your pipeline. That's why it really, really matters. Now, I'm going to walk you through a couple of examples of people and who their niche is and who the pain is they sell to. And these are people I work with who make shit tons of money from LinkedIn. Like all organic, no ads, right? And these are just real human beings, just like you, right? And they've only been working with Bill for like not even 4 months, I think. It's crazy, right? So I want to run you through like, who does Bill help, right? What is his niche? Because I'll give you an example. If you do not have a niche, right? If you do not have a niche, and I'm going to give you an example of not a niche. What is not a niche, right? So if you sell so when you're niching, right, you need to pick a subculture to sell to, right? You need to pick a location, being a geographical location or a platform or whatever it is. And then you need to pick it's called their temporal identity or just the stage of life that they're in, right? Why are they there, right? So Bill sells to engineers, right? Engineers, easy. The reason why engineers is a great subculture is because someone calls themselves an engineer, and also because there's rules and there's kind of cultural nuances of being an engineer, right? It's really key. And so, I'm a CrossFitter. I used to play League of Legends, right? I don't play it anymore, but like that's a subculture, right? And a mid-level executive is not a subculture. It's not a subculture, right? I would even argue that founders is a lot of the time not a subculture, right? Anyone who says, I help founders book calls on LinkedIn, you don't have a niche. It's not a thing, right? It's like, or I've got one client, Dennis, the only different thing about his entire niche, and I'll show you his profile, right? The only difference between Dennis and other people that sell lead generation on LinkedIn, right? I'll show you an example. Dennis got on the call with me one time and he was like, hey, thanks, Matt. Dennis, Dottie, what was Dennis's name again? Give me one sec, let me find it. Dennis, Dennis Jedlik, right? Dennis Jedlik. All right, cool. Let me pull it back up. Okay. All right, so Dennis Jedlik. Here he is, right? The only difference between Dennis and other people is that Dennis sells people in Germany, and Germany has a subculture. That's literally what he does. It's like super simple. And one time he got on the call and he's like, hey, Matt, just want to let you know, I booked 350 calls this year. That's literally the power of niching. So anyone that says don't niche is literally an idiot. They don't know what they're talking about, right? So engineers is a subculture. That's what Bill does. What is the location he works with? So he works with people in the US, right? In the US. So he works with engineers, and he want to make 100K, he will make about 150K. or who make 150K and want to make 200K, right? That's the stage of the people that he markets to. And what does he sell that's a real thing? He sells recruiting. Recruiting is a real thing that he actually sells to, which is really, really key. And so when I look at Bill's content, right? Like how does he get so many inbounds when he talks to people and through his content, right? I can really clearly see on Bill's profile, he helps geotechnical and structural engineers find a better role. I'm a recruiter. Recruiters are underpaid except for mine, the engineering headhunter, right? That's what he is, right? And so if I go to our, this is the software app that everyone in our program gets completely for free. So if I go to activity feed, where's it? Top posts. So if I look at top posts in the past 30 days, Bill has like 2 of the top posts. So what do the top posts say, right? So let's go through it, right? So 10,000 likes, pretty insane, right? I talk to engineers making 150K remote who feel guilty about not wanting more. At least every 3 weeks, someone asks me to on the lookout for a VP role in a principal path, right? Every single thing he said in here is talking to the pains of what these people feel. It's like every day they're feeling guilty for not wanting more. This also markets to people making 100K, and this is what they want. Because they're like, what the fuck? How are you an engineer remote making 150K? Like, then after 3 weeks, they're talking about VP role and a principal path. These are all words that engineers would use within their day. And so the way he's written the content is marketing towards that. And so every DM that he sends, it's very, very clear and easy to actually bring up to them what their actual pains are. Like, what are they even doing? And this is why it's like really key, because unless you have a niche, you can't be useful to someone, right? When you send a message, because imagine that this is your niche, right? And this is a very common niche, right? People sell to this, right? So they are a coach, right? And what do? Right? So they work with employees at companies, right? Employees on Earth, because they can work with anyone, anywhere, who are stressed. So they're a stress coach for employees on Earth. What can they give someone that's actually useful? Seriously, if anyone's got in the chat, just let me know. What can they give someone that's useful? You don't know. You have no idea. Maybe they need to do breath work. Maybe they need to eat better. Maybe they need to go to the gym. Maybe they're having issues with their relationship. You don't know. You have no idea what's going on, and you can't describe what's in their world. It's impossible. This is why niching matters so much. So how are you then going to send them a DM and talk about the pains they have in their life to buy your thing? Sure, you can talk about generic and broad pains around just like your life sucks, whatever, but like you'll get no leads. I see this all the time. People post shitty leadership content on LinkedIn and they're like following the trends of like what's working on Twitter. They don't get any clients. They get a lot of attention, but why don't you just be like Bill? Bill still gets 10,000 likes and fuck tons of leads, but he just has a niche. Same thing. You can still talk about it, which is really, really key at the same time, right? So Pedro's another really good example, right? Who is his niche, right? People wanting to start an e-commerce business in 30 days, 9 to 5 employees to get richer, build a secret business, right? And he markets to usually men in the US and Canada who've been in their job making 250K a year. They hate their boss and they want to leave, right? That's it. That's like what they do. And so if I go to all of his content, what's Pedro talking about? He's talking about this. Everything. And he runs workshops to sell this as well. He's talking about the same thing. Your workplace cuts coffee for cost savings, then sells. That's fucking, I can't read that out loud. Mummy, tell us why we're super rich again. Daddy opened 3 daycares in Minnesota. Government funding. Fake signage on an empty building. Also real. Prison. It's just like he's playing on the things that people think about. Leaked memo reveals 16,000 Amazon employee layoff. Bezos immediately buys Wendy third yacht. He's talking about the thing that all these people are thinking about, like, my job's not safe. I hate these executives. I need to take things into my own hands, right? So he has something he's actually positioning on. When you've got the other classic person, which is like, hey, I'll show you how to become a solopreneur. What do you mean? Like, what does that even mean? Like, it's not even a thing. It's really, really difficult. So the way that you write DMs in order to get people to come back to you, right, to create inbound leads, is you have to market to the pain. Right? You have to think, what is the daily pain? And I'll give you guys daily pain right now. I'll describe to you your experience on LinkedIn and tell me if I've got it right as well, right? A daily pain that people feel every day, right? You have to market to that. Think about feeling tired and drinking coffee, right? Because you have to create a pain loop. You have to create pain, meaning from the pain, pressure, and eventually the balloon is going to pop. Eventually the balloon is going to pop, right? And so let me give you a description of like what your pain probably is right now if I like describe it, right? Let's say you're a small business owner. You've been building your business for a while. You built up some referrals. You got a steady income, right? But where are you stuck? What's the pain you feel every day? The pain you feel is you are sitting there waiting and wondering when the next referral is going to come in. You don't have control over your actual business right now. You've never had control over your actual business. You've actually all led it up to fate. And what's happened is you've gotten these referrals over the time from these people and they trust you. But what's happened is you met with them and you're like, we can maybe help you, maybe not. I'm going to take you as a client anyway, because whatever, I'm going to do it. And what you've done is you've increased your scope of work so much that now you work with a broad range of people doing different things. You have no time to productize or systematize your own business. You can't hang out with your family. You can't even make the money you want, and you're working an insane amount of hours. Then you open up LinkedIn, right? And then everyone's saying you can market your business on LinkedIn. So you bought some templates for post templates. You bought some DM templates. Maybe you set up an automation. You bought Sales Nav, right? And every day you log in and you've been posting for a few months and you're getting a few likes. One of your posts popped off, but you're wondering where the leads are coming from. You don't know. You've rebuilt your profile 4 or 5 times. You're still really questioning and you keep thinking about your headline over and over and over again, but you're seeing all these people in the feed and all of a sudden they're getting all these wins, and you're seeing one of your colleagues who just gets like hundreds of likes per post when they post this leadership quote, and you're really confused because you're like, are they getting clients? Are they not? And then you sell someone doing this post saying this cold DM template booked me 50 meetings, and you're like, maybe I'll do that. So you comment underneath saying meetings. They eventually send it to you. They start selling to you in the chat, but it's really weird and robotic and you don't know what's happening. At the same time, you're getting all these shitty VA messages every single day on LinkedIn, pitching their services. And then you're scrolling through LinkedIn and every single person seems to be someone that helps CEOs and small business owners build a personal brand. And whenever you message a few of them, it's like they have no idea what they're talking about. So you just sat there like extremely confused, not even knowing what to do. You go on YouTube, you try to find some templates and structures, and you just think that LinkedIn just doesn't work for you. In your niche with what you do, because you're a special snowflake, the largest networking platform on earth with 1 billion people on it doesn't work for you. And you don't want to admit that you actually just suck. You actually suck at content and you suck at DMs. So it's really hard to hold the ego together. That's what's really, really difficult. So you're sitting there, you're terrified, you're sending these DMs, you're getting these responses where people are like, maybe, or I could be interested in 6 months. No one swears at you because they're not really do that. They're just giving you polite nudgebacks. But you're still sitting there, hitting the DMs anyway, knowing that nothing's going to happen, putting a timer on, then you're looking over at your phone, you're like, actually, maybe I'm just going to do that. Then you just go downstairs and you eat, you go and eat some chips for the 3rd time because you're just procrastinating. Then you decide you're going to end it up for the end of the day. And then you walk around and you're like, oh, I'll go to the gym instead. And then you just procrastinate again. But you haven't addressed the core issue is that you actually haven't niched down online. But the problem is you didn't even know it was a thing, because all the general advice you've seen in the LinkedIn feed is just that, I got no clients for this many years. Now I'm making $30,000 a month. Here's how you make it too by building a personal brand. And everyone's saying, build a personal brand. And you're thinking to yourself, what does a personal brand mean? I don't even know what it means. Like, how is that going to make me money? And what you're not realizing at the same time is every creator seeing the platform doesn't even make any money. They're all just lying to you. They work for a multi-level marketing scheme, which is LinkedIn, right? So they're non-for-profit donators to LinkedIn, right? So they're donating hours of their day to LinkedIn, commenting, engaging, do all this kind of stuff, making them look like they know shit when they don't know fuck all. And then what's happening is people are commenting under their stuff, and it's like a multi-level marketing scheme where they're enrolling each other through their time, through their comments. And you as a business owner is looking at all this stuff, and you're like, I just read that post that had 1,000 likes. It was stupid. Why is this even a thing, right? So that's me describing your daily experience as someone using the LinkedIn platform, right? Because I have a niche, I know my niche, I work with them really well. So that's the end of the video. So guys, if you want to work with us or if you enjoyed this, I'm going live every single day at this time on LinkedIn and YouTube. If you want to come work with us, love for you to work with us as well. What we do, the way we work our system is like, we have a whole entire system. If you're a small business owner and you want to build your business on LinkedIn, if you have less than 5 staff, and if you want to post content and send DMs yourself, you have to want to do it yourself, right? It doesn't work if you're going to outsource it. You can't post from your company page. It's not a thing. And if you want to join a program of people that do the work every single day, We tell you to market for an hour every day because it doesn't magically happen. We run it like a gym, right? You actually do the work and you get a lot of results, right? But if I look at someone like Shireen as an example, 15 hours ago, we only started working together like 2 weeks ago, right? And she's actually already getting these wins. So it is hard what we do, but we're there every single day. I get back to everybody every single day. We have unlimited resources in here. We also give you software. We give this software within our community as well. We've also got a leaderboard that we like literally just launched as well with 3 different leagues as well. And we give you go high level of the software completely for free. So if you want to work with us, just come to this About Me section. You can watch this video. It shows what's inside. Come join us for a month, see what it's like as well. I'm also selling individual tickets to these workshops, so you're not full of shit. So you can come along and see if it's good. And if not, I'll see you guys another day. I have lots of fun doing this, but I gotta go. Goodbye.